languages, and tradition, contributing to a richer national identity. A richer national identity. Number 6, political stability. Decentralizing power can lead to greater political stability. With regions, when regions have a degree of autonomy, they can manage their affairs more effectively, reducing the likelihood of central government overreach and potential authoritarianism. Another one is improved governance. Regional governments can be more responsive and accountable to their local population. We also have policy innovation, balanced development, empowerment of local leaders, resource management. To talk on resource management, it's important to mention that regions can manage their resources more efficiently, leading to a better allocation and utilization. This can particularly be important in a country like Nigeria, where resource distribution has often been a contentious issue. Regional control over resources can ensure that the benefits of resource exploitation are more directly felt by the local population. This can lead to more sustainable and equitable resource management practices. Let me conclude by saying that regionalism in Nigerian politics reflects the country's rich diversity, but also poses significant challenges. While regional identities and interests are an integral part of Nigeria's political landscape, they necessitate careful management to ensure that national unity and equitable development are ensured. Balancing regional interests with national goals remains a critical task for national leaders, requiring a delicate and inclusive approach to governance. In other words, while regionalism in Nigerian politics must be managed carefully to avoid deepening divisions, it offers a pathway to more inclusive, responsive, and effective governance. By promoting representation, economic development, conflict reduction, cultural preservation, political stability, improved governance, policy innovation, balanced development, empowerment of local leaders, and efficient resource management, regionalism can contribute significantly to Nigeria's growth and unity. Embracing regionalism can help Nigeria harness its diversity as a strength, fostering a more harmonious and prosperous nation. Thank you for listening.
Amy, thank you. I align myself with the existing protocol. I am honored to stand here in front of the low confer, the generalissimo of the Yoruba race, Dr. Gani Adams. To deliver a lecture that revolves around our existence. As a Yoruba intellectual, permits me to start by quoting Oodua, Iba gbogbo babaláwo tó ń bẹ níbí. Ifá ní ká pọ̀ ká jí wọn, ká gbá gbogbogbò sí wọn, kó dàbọ̀ kó rúkú dùgbẹ̀dùgbẹ̀, ká ṣọ wọn yalẹ́ ká wọn. Àdíá fún alákọ̀ọ́lẹ̀ mẹ́sìn, ọjọ́ tó lóhun ó joyè, wọ́n lóhun mẹ́ta ni ò gbọdọ̀ ṣe, ó lóhun ó joyè, wọ́n ní ò gbọdọ̀ fi gbọ́ ara ṣe lé, wọ́n ní ò gbọdọ̀ fọ̀tẹ̀ ìlú ṣọjà, wọ́n ní ò gbọdọ̀ foríta mẹ́ta ṣòde. Alákọ̀ọ́lẹ̀ mẹ́sìn joyè tán, ó fi gbọ́ ara ṣe lé, ó fọ̀tẹ̀ ìlú ṣọjà, ó foríta mẹ́ta ṣòde. Àwọn aráyé bá ń sọ pé àwọn ò bá alákọ̀ọ́lẹ̀ ṣe mọ́ ìwòrè lákọ̀ọ́. What that Oodua simply tells us is that if you cannot keep up with the promises and with the social contract, there will be what? There will be revolution, there will be crisis. What we are saying in essence is that the present issue we are facing as a country is as a result of what? Injustice, oppression, and marginalization in the Nigerian polity. So to start with, the topic for today is we have to talk about Nigeria's 64 years of checkered history, the imperative of regionalism and restructuring. Let me quickly take us to the memory lane. The 1914 amalgamation of the Northern and Southern Protectorates was based on economic rather than consensus among the founding fathers. However, the founding fathers were able to reconcile their differences as a result of, they still have ideological differences, but because of the constitutional conferences, they were able to work together as one. Through the different constitutional conferences, we have the 1946 Richard Constitution, which introduced regionalism in the Nigerian polity. And we also have the 1951 Constitution, which came up with the idea of, which laid the foundation for federalism in Nigeria. But as at the First Republic, between 1963 to 1966, what we have was a regional system of government, and what we have a regional arrangement. Under that regional arrangement, the proceeds from cocoa, the likes of Obafemi Awolowo, they were able to use the proceeds from cocoa to come up with the idea of free primary health care, free education, and we also have industrial hubs in Ikeja, in Lupeju, Ado-Ekiti, and Ilesha. The eastern region, through palm oil, they were able to come up with the idea of free education and infrastructural development, while the northern part of Nigeria was able to use their proceeds from the Grand Pyramid to also develop. However, the Decree 34 of the 1966 military coup led to a situation where this particular arrangement was truncated. What do we have today? We have a situation where the subsequent inspired military constitutions of 1979 and 1999 led state creation, federal character, educationally less developed states, quota system, and these have further aggravated the structural imbalance between the north and south, between the central and the component units, because the political economy of the states is skewed to favor some group over the other. For example, there are 19 states in the north, while there are 17 states in the south. There are 407 local governments in the north. There are 367 local governments in the south. While the south, that is why the south generates 86% of the revenue, did not only contribute 14% of the revenue, but at the end of the day, they receive 56% from the federal government. The federal government equally control value-added tax, or the alcohol tax. Now, the federal government, how do you explain this? How do you expect a region that forbids the sales of alcohol to profit and probably get a larger share from a forbidden venture? Permit me to say our federalism is around federalism. Kano State receives 525.74 billion from alcohol tax. Yes, they say alcohol is around, but that's the money they collect. So, but the problem further, the replacement of agriculture for petrodollar economy has been the Abidjan of violence in the Niger Delta. When you look at section 140 of the 1963 Constitution, it stipulates that 50% of royalties should be given to the region where certain resources are mined. In contrast distinction to this, what do we have today? The Niger Delta presently receives 13% derivation from the central government, despite the negative impact of the ecological disaster caused by oil exploration. Furthermore, credible candidates and graduates from the South can neither be gainfully admitted nor employed on merit into ministries, departments, agencies, the military and the university due to the affirmative action. So the negative implication of these structural imbalances and pyramid federalism has been the source of problem, whether you talk about Boko Haram insurgency, banditry, kidnap for ritual, kidnap for ransom, farmer-leaders conflict, secessionist agitation, etc. The root cause of this passive oppression and injustice stems from the inability of the subsequent government to restructure the skewed, distorted, and lopsided political and economic arrangements. Against this background, there is need to define two key concepts: restructuring and federalism. I'll start with federalism. Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided and shared between the central and the regional or state government. Federalism emphasizes mutual independence, division of power, supremacy of the constitution, and autonomy. I need to stress that I need to stress that restructuring is neither a southern nor northern agenda. Rather, restructuring is a national question born out of the need to correct the problem of disempowerment, economic underdevelopment, social suffocation, authoritarian political tendency, dependency, and exploitation. Permit me to quote Malam Lamido Sanusi. He says, "We are living in denial. The Northwest and the Northeast demographically constitute the bulk of Nigeria's population. But look at human development indices. Look at the number of out-of-school children. Look at adult literacy. Look at maternal mortality. The North and the Northwest Nigeria are among the poorest part of the world. Nobody saw this because we are looking at Nigeria as a country that averages the oil-rich Niger Delta, the industrial and commercial-rich Lagos, the commercially viable Southeast, and you have an average." From the foregoing, restructuring simply means to alter or to reform the present political and economic arrangements in order to solve the problem of historical injustice, marginalization, and oppression. The next question is, why do we need to restructure? First thing, let's talk about security. According to the 2023 Afrobarometer report, 77% of Nigerians consider the country to be unsafe. An SBN intelligence report revealed that over 5 billion have been paid as ransom to kidnappers for a period of 5 years. Nigeria is equally ranked third and sixth in Africa and in the world, according to the Global Terrorism Index. Insecurity has impacted education negatively, leading to 1.3 out-of-school children, according to UNICEF report 2020-2021. Why? Why do we have this problem? We need to ask. The present policing system in Nigeria is highly vertical and ineffective, and it partly accounts for the political hemorrhage Nigeria is currently undergoing. Imagine, Nigeria currently has 371,800 police officers to serve 774 local governments with over 200 million people. More devastating is the fact that half of these officers often serve as aides to politicians and various very important persons in quotes, including the Yahoo boys. With the state police, there is likelihood of a strong trust between local communities and the police. State policing is cost-effective, efficient, and highly effective in crime prevention and intelligent gathering across boundaries.
Who says Are Ona Kakanfo did not fight for Nigerian democracy? Who says he's not a freedom fighter? Who says he's not a freedom fighter? This man is a dogged fighter. Our leader. Palakoyi Jericho, please give clap if he has suffered. Perseverance. You can see what is yielding now. And now, you can see. Okay. Repeat it. Let me continue. Oh, and then we mentioned woman. I'm going to read. Nígbà tí ẹ bí òkèké ó yẹ kẹ́ sọ kẹ́ fi ojú rí sí orúkọ ẹ̀.
Ìjọ mọ̀ bí bíṣọ̀tì wọn náà ṣe rí ní 20 years ago.
Kò sí wọ́n wá wa mọ́. Ààrẹ ti ilẹ̀ wọ́n tẹ̀. Bàbá. Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò.
And so by that, I will throw the floor open to the discussants, panelists. And before then, I would like to say, okay, all right, so we will wait 5 minutes in time for cultural troupe to perform. Thank you.
Over to you, cultural troupe. Let's go. Nigeria went to the polls to elect a new president. Nigeria, really. There were only two political parties, SDP and NRC. Chief Moshood Abiola Kashimawo is the flag bearer of SDP. And Alhaji Tofan Bashiru is the flag bearer of NRC. Then after the elections, Chief Kashimawo Olawale was declared as the winner.
But unfortunately, the election was annulled by the great general Babangida Badamasi. I don't tell you.
After the outcry of the annulment of election, the government under General Babangida was forced to step aside for Chief Ernest Shoneko. Solidarity forever! Solidarity forever! Solidarity forever! We shall always fight for right. Solidarity forever! Solidarity forever! Solidarity forever! We shall always fight for right.
Sani Abacha led the military coup and took over the army head of state.
Alhaji Chief Moshood Olawale Kashimawo continued with his struggles to claim his mandates.
Simawu Olawale Abiola. Winner of the concluded election of June 12, 1993, as the President-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. At the end of the day, June 12 was declared the official Jubilee Democracy Day. Please keep clapping for the performance. Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping. Don't stop clapping. Thank you very much.
Oodua ni mí o. Oodua ni mí o.
For a Muslim ticket. You might also say that we have such today. Then, Abiola defeated Tofa in Kano. June 12th, our people put aside all religious sentiments came out. It was a free atmosphere, it was peaceful, and it shows the people's resistance to military dictatorship, to authoritarianism in Nigeria. So June 12 will continue to serve as a watershed in the annals of our democratic struggle in Nigeria. No wonder, after our struggles, June 12 became Democracy Day. It didn't come on a platter of gold. It was due to the consistent struggle that our people put in. That was what made June 12 our Democracy Day. The symbol of that struggle, MK Abiola. The last time we held a meeting in Akure, that people were accusing MK Abiola of trying to betray the struggle. We said, no, a corpse cannot run away from the undertaker. MK Abiola never betrayed us. So MK Abiola remains that symbol of resistance. And Kudirat Abiola, the day she was killed, I left the house with her in her car, but I stopped over to type out what we were going to use while visiting the editorial board of a newspaper by 4 p.m. But that 4 p.m., that was the time she was being buried. So there's no way that when we talk about June 12, we will not remember those that paid the supreme price. MK Abiola, Kudirat Abiola, Alfred Ewani, several others, including Yinka Odumaki. Today, for our struggle not to be in vain, we decided to go to the national conference. And I'm happy some of the people that were at the conference are here. And I will just pick like 3 resolutions that we made. And that is why that conference must be revisited. It's very easy for a bill to be passed, for our national anthem to be changed. So let it also be easy for the resolutions of that conference to be passed so that it's not wasted. We talked about devolution of power. There is no way in which when we have regional government, there are a lot of advantages because each region will develop at its own pace. We also made a resolution about fiscal federalism, that from the federal government, 45.5% should go, that's the revenue allocation, should go to the states, while local government should receive 22.5%. And out of the numerous resolutions, the last one was resource control, that each and every one, for instance, Are made mention while I was sitting there about resource control, that if each and every state will have that ability to control the resources that they have, they can pay tax to the federal government. So I want to use this occasion of this June 12th, the 31st anniversary, to call for the revisit of the confab resolutions so that all the money that has been spent will not result to colossal loss of lives and resources. Because we had Dora with us at that conference. She died. She should not die in vain, and several others. I want to salute each and every one. Women, like Kudirat Abiola always said, also have a role to play. It's not in the other room or in the kitchen. We must all come out, and women must remain at that pedestal of respectability in contributing their own quota to the peace and progress of this country. Finally, I want to challenge each and every one of us. Every onlooker is either a coward or a traitor. We must speak up. When we see injustice, we must speak against such. Unless we must live up to its responsibilities, and citizens must never shortchange others. I want to thank you. We will continue. MK Abiola died for our collective struggle. We never, ever forget the sacrifice that M. Abiola paid with his only life. The sacrifices that our heroes and heroines paid with their only life. And we promise today that that struggle will never be in vain. Thank you.
Freedom come,
By struggle, by struggle, freedom come.
freedom cometh
By struggle, freedom come. By struggle, freedom. Thank you, greatest Nigerian people. Greatest Nigerian people. June 12th, forever. Thank you.
The major problem in Nigeria is that we have a people that have never participated in how people divided them into federating units. So when the Constitution of 1963 was abrogated, and it threw away the regional system, and then when states were created, the minimum power or limited power that the regions then had over their regions were lost, and Nigeria became a unitary state. So what we have at present is not a federal system. Professor Afisi has illustrated that and has given us the problems inherent in that. When self-determination struggle started in 1994, we said the slogan was self-determination within or outside Nigeria. Outside means that Yoruba people wanted to leave Nigeria. And the song then was Ileya o, Omo Oodua Ileya. Tí a kò bá mọ bí àárín ó yẹ ká padà. So very clear that we deserve a nation of our own. But there was another option that within Nigeria, meaning that we can go back to regionalism. So that was the second option, and that's what is emerging now. But even at that, we must recognize that the regions we had then can no longer fulfill the aspirations of today Yoruba. And we have to be dialectical. We have to be logical. So when we say we are going back to the regions, which regions? Now, to security. There is no doubt about it that when you are in control of your regions, you are in control of your resources. We have state police, as had been recommended by the confab in 2014. You will be able to manage security more effectively. There will be various layers, as you have in other countries where they practice federalism. But what we have in Nigeria is unitary system. Imagine a country where, whenever there is upheaval in the southeast, the SSS is always eager to issue a statement and threats. Police will issue threats. Even yesterday, TSS also issued threats on this June 12th. How dare you to tell us that we cannot walk the street? We got to where we are because we walked the street. We threw stones. We resisted. What made June 12th tick was the fact that people resisted for so many years. That is how we arrived here. So, I strongly believe, as the two speakers posited, that if we restructure, and for the Yoruba, as we have always proposed, because there have been so many attempts. There was the efforts to write the Yoruba Constitution, year 2000 to 2003, then Yoruba agenda, then what people took to the contract. If Yorubas are allowed to go on our own, we will be able to better manage security.
security because we already have rudiments of the structure, culturally, traditionally, and politically. When I say politically, I'm saying not the politicians, but that our experience as self-determinationists, all the struggles we have waged, the structures that permeate our society at various levels. There is no doubt that we will definitely be able to manage security better than what we have today, when even governors of states are not in control of their states. It's only where what they are doing is in tandem with the interests of the federal government. That is when it appears the governor has some powers. He does not have any power. Then let me just, lastly, this is very important. The states you have in Nigeria, what are they? By the grace of God, how do you constitute Nigeria? How was Nigeria constituted? Some people sat somewhere and took pen and started drawing map. For God's sake, even the regions, how were they constituted? So I think it is important that we structure, and for us in Yoruba land, regionalism is very important, and also that every ethnic group in Nigeria deserves the right to internal self-determination. What that means is that you have the right to choose which region you are going to belong.
Dr. Abayomi,
Thank you.
Professor Abayomi, sorry, sir. You have done more than justice to the question.
Thank you.
Your answers address comprehensively the problem with Nigeria. And so I won't say more than that.
For also giving me this opportunity. This is my second opportunity for a program organized by ARE. I was the paper presenter at the Olokun Festival. I was not presented the paper on Omoluabi the last time. So I thank the ARE and I also thank the OPC. Yes, from the presentations, regionalism also goes with restructuring. You cannot have a regional government without restructure or restructuring, because presently in the case of Nigeria, Nigeria is running a federal system which is not federal in the real character. And what we need and desire now is a government that will be representative, a government that will be symbolic, a government that will do what the people want. Because if we are celebrating democracy, and particularly 25 years of uninterrupted democracy since 1999, we need to also make that democracy to work in the right way. And one of those characteristics or features that make democracy work perfectly is where every region, every person is well represented and the right thing is done. If regionalism is adopted or accepted, quickly before that said, let me say that Nigeria began a political journey just like the moderator, Professor Okoro, said earlier, in a parliamentary democracy. That was what we adopted that time. And it was well granted and effectively adopted. So we got it from our colonial masters and we were doing that. And it was based on regional governments. And with that regional governments, each of those regions available that time was existing, developing, and doing what will please that region and make it develop. But now, if we get a regional government, restructuring will follow. If we have a restructured government or system of government and regionalism, there will be no mixture or gerrymandering, as the moderator calls it again, because in regionalism or regional government, it will be cultural, it will be symbolic, it will be effective management of regional resources. You can remember that in the First Republic, like even the first paper said, the First Republic, each region had its own resources, properly managed, effectively managed. We saw what was done in Southwest or in Western region, where they started the Oodua investments all over in different areas. We saw education, free education. We saw resources were properly managed. Even then in the north, the cola was properly managed, and they were making their prosperity even from the cola. Even coal in the east to eastern region. And all of this was going on well before the military truncated that. And eventually we had a unitary government. And since that time, the gerrymandering had become a political feature of Nigerian democracy. And that's why you now see even the Yorubas or the Hausas or the Igbos or all of us mingling together even into a particular region. But when we come to regionalism, there will be linguistically symbolic or feature. There will be effective management of our resources. Then there will be governance. Governance will be properly monitored. In fact, let me take it from the southwest. Every household, community, society, we have names. We trace ourselves to our names. If you do any wrong thing, they will say, Omo Taniye, Omo Lagbadaniye, Omo Boni, Talolori Ebimo. They will trace them. And that is when you become proper Omoluabi, representing your people very well and doing what the people want. So regionalism will bring proper governance, effective management of resources. Then inclusivity. People will be included, people will take ownership of their own governance. And finally, there will be proper security. Now, thank God it has come, this present government is also supporting state police. We need state policing now. Because if we police ourselves, we will know ourselves. We will know the criminals among us. We will know the problem we have. And it will be collectively solved. Thank you so much.
And I say that for a purpose, to bring to light what I am about to say. Now, you will agree with me that the reversion to the whole national anthem, making it new, has given us a leverage and a mission which I basically came to this event to communicate. They said, Nigeria we hate thee, our home their native land. Though tribes and tongues may differ. I think the basic problem we have in the Nigerian society is a problem of identity. For too long a time, we have been coerced into hiding our identity within the call to nationhood. And that has not worked. And now, by this reversion, the implication is that the national anthem has recognized that I am an Egbaman, a Yoruba by tribe, from southwest Nigeria. That is my identity, now recognized by the national anthem. Now, it went on to say, in brotherhood we stand. Maybe it should have been a nationhood we stand. Because we can't differ in tribe and tongues and then come to brotherhood. The call is to nationhood, and that must be clear. And, sir, the area of the Kakamfu. Though it's a struggle for us to come to the full realization of our identity. But I know there is a citizen of the Yoruba nation who is already there. And that is your person. How do I live? Every chief in Yoruba land that you run across will either be the Bobagoa of a land or Ashiwaju of somewhere. The only one that carries the identity of the Yoruba nation is the area of Kakamfu. Meaning that as the Kakamfu, you are already there, we're all here, we're looking up to you, and we believe that you will advance and escalate the demand of the Yoruba nation for an identity within the nation we call Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Since you're a lawyer, how do we look at a country called Nigeria? It is an African country, the giant of Africa, quote and unquote. And we are using common law, which is the law common among all the cantons of Britain. What is common among them? The laws that are not common among them are not emphasized. They now bring it and use it to suppress our own traditional ancestral law, and they now call it customary law, and it is repugnant. How would restructuring and regionalism address these fundamental problems? Because if we don't address it, it means we are still slaves. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think it's really a very simple question of asking. I hope I can give a simple answer. What you have asked basically is how can our law reflect our needs, our society? That takes us to the very constitution, the highest law of our land that we are practicing. Now, every lawyer has taken a course in constitutional law. And there's something that bothers us forever, up to the law school. We say that for Nigeria to work, you must have an autochthonous constitution. It's just a pity that when you ask lawyers to talk and you give us 5 minutes, you overlimit us. But I'll try. You are basically asking for a group of laws, or the law, that will reflect our yearnings, our needs, that will encapsulate our tradition, our culture, our aspiration. The present constitution is a fraud. The present constitution is a lie. By the very preamble, there is the opening paragraph that says, we, the people of Nigeria, nothing can be more fraudulent than that. The people of Nigeria did not write that constitution. Some persons who were unpicked wrote that constitution and foisted it on the rest of us. You were trying to be a lawyer in your question when you say some laws are repugnant to national justice. Well, it is not as if our laws, our customs are not exactly recognized. No, I will seriously disagree with you. But what is the extent of the recognition given to our law? What is the extent of our recognition for our regions, for ourselves? For example now, and I think I did not start properly, and now that I am reminded, let me pay due respect to Gani Adams, the 5th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, the 15th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land. You see, history is very, very helpful, and lawyers, we are products of history. There's nothing lawyers are doing that is not based on what is on ground. We build on what is on ground because we make it organic to regulate what we need. That is why you have the National Assembly every day thinking of new laws to reflect our yearnings. Hence, everybody wants state police. Everybody wants regionalism. Everybody wants restructuring. How can we best achieve this if we do not go the way of what Gani Adams, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò, and Dr. Joe Odumbaki have experienced? We need a national confab, a transparent, genuine, national-driven national confab, where people will come and very, very honestly rewrite the wrong history of the area called Nigeria, the political entity. For you to understand this, you must understand the foundation, that our foundation is not upward, What is the foundation of Nigeria? It is a fraud. The amalgamation of 1914. Before 1914, the Yoruba people were powerful people. They were vibrant. They were traders. They were warriors. The Benin Republic was vibrant. They were warriors. The Igbo people were Asifanos. They had no central government. The northern people were basically hierarchical. They were feudal. Rakadede. In socialism, the Yoruba people were far more progressive. Now you have got such persons under the control, under the leadership of people who were taught, who were trained to say yes sir, never to question. You remember the role of the Onomesi. They never said yes sir always to their love of law. They were vibrant. Therefore, what Nigeria needs, what we need as a people, is the recognition, the growing of laws that will reflect our need. You said, and if I may just round up on that note, I had a reason to remarry, and I took a beautiful woman from Ishakiri land. When she's a civil servant, she now said, my husband, for them to recognize that I am now Mrs. Obolaja, you will have to take me to the registry. I said, no. I will never take any woman to the registry. I will never be enslaved. Before Kati Heto Daye, our fathers have a well-recognized, well-organized system of marriage. What I will do is, since I have come to your people, I paid your dowry, I gave them what they wanted. In Sapele, what we are going to do is very simple. You will not go and swear to an affidavit. You will do newspaper publication. Take that to your place of work that your husband has done customary marriage for you. What am I trying to say here? Our customary marriage is recognized under the law. It's not just the English marriage. Our practices are not repugnant. We are not backward people. We are not barbarians. But the English people came and they subjugated us. If they did not come, the emancipation of Africa will have been faster. You provoke lawyers when you ask them to talk. And I quickly say this. If our father, Chief Moshood, Kasima Olawale Abiola, was not murdered, the program started, the reparation for the slavery in Africa would have fetched Africa more than money, would have fetched Africa more recognition. We won't be competing with Europe. Why is Germany paying reparation to the Jews? And today, America, Europe, they are not willing to pay reparation to us. Up till now, they are still teleguiding us. They are stealing from us. So I say to you, our law in Yoruba land, in Nigeria, we have a set of beautiful laws, extremely helpful laws. Our system of marriages, of naming, of doing things, our rights of passage are not repugnant to equity, natural justice, and good conscience. We are the people that should be given the chance to be ourselves. And that is what? Let the Yorubas be Yoruba. Let the Igbos be Igbos. Let the Hausa be Hausa. Then, though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we can coexist. Regionalism will be recognized. Restructuring will be recognized. Thank you so much.
To some of the speakers, they've addressed some of these issues in a way that everybody will not be left in doubt that Nigerians actually know what they want, just that they don't have the opportunity to get at it. You see, Nigeria is a contraption put together by foreigners. What we are lacking, of course we knew that it wasn't good the way they helped us together. Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba. Yes, we can be friends. But there are dividing factors. Ìwà wa ó yàtọ̀ síra wọn ó jẹ́ ṣe díẹ̀díẹ̀ bá a ṣe ń jẹun ó yàtọ̀ síra wọn àwọn bá a ṣe ń wọṣọ ó yàtọ̀ síra wọn bá a ṣe ń sọ our world views are different the way we want to develop ourselves are different the way we want to govern ourselves are different the history of traditional government in Africa differs from one ethnic group to the other. Before the amalgamation, nobody negotiated and wanted to be friends with another. But for administrative convenience of our colonial masters, who are still running underground system, as Fela called it, wanted us to be forced together so that they will be able to exploit us better. We are talking about restructuring. Why do we need it? Because we develop at different paces. We educated ourselves differently. When the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo introduced free education in this part of the country, some other parts were making jest of him that he couldn't succeed. Obafemi knew where to source the money from. Some other people didn't develop the economic potentials of their area. Obafemi developed cocoa. Beyond cocoa, he developed coffee. He developed cola nuts. We are just mentioning cocoa. He educated people traditionally and academically. The traditional Yoruba culture understands the economics of those times. And that is why you didn't have any traditional Yoruba family that didn't have two houses. One in their villages or towns, or then another one in their farmland or in their places of work. They were rich. Poverty was not this, widespread. So when people talk about restructuring, I will ask, what were we doing when they destroyed the structure that developed us to the level that we were when we were establishing University of Ibadan, establishing the first television station, in Africa, not only Nigeria? Why did we destroy that structure? Now, why is it that we polluted our political system that now make it a marketplace of electoral allocations? If you don't have money, you can't get anywhere. I was discussing with somebody else the other time that look, we have activists. Why is it that activists don't succeed when they contest election? And those that succeeded in winning election get sucked into the political agenda of the capitalists. Why is it that they don't plow back, they don't look back and empower those they left behind, even those who rode on the back of collective struggle to position of prominence? They sucked them in. They wanted to do the way they preached, what they preached, but the system didn't accommodate them. And because the system is now larger, the way we look at things differ. They don't want anybody to oppose the central position of the political economists. So everybody now get quiet because they want to remain in power become creative on things that they will do that will bring money to their pocket, with which they will fulfill their socio-economic, responsibilities, and reduce criminalities and crimes in our society. Our laws will also be restructured so that corruption will be eliminated to the barest minimum or reduced to the barest minimum. Violation of human rights that is being done with reckless abandon will also reduce because we know ourselves. We know our project, we know our, what do you call it now, ancestors. And that market, if somebody comes from a family of these, he will believe that stealing is a good profession. A new crop of fraudulent elements are now coming up. Their family, of course, they are already raising family. The generation of Yahoo boys and girls, the Yahoo Plus is now coming in, engaging in ritual murders and getting away with it. Now, when the children of such people develop, they will not be able to identify what their progenitors did to make enormous wealth that they display. They have so many cars, they have so many houses, they have so much influence. But they are not proud to tell their children that they stole or they defrauded certain people to get that money. Restructuring may come along that line to normalize the effects of fraudulent practices in our society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Existing protocol. Iba, I recall that this time last year, right in this auditorium, you were both anthropologically and archaeologically lamenting that those of you who fought for democracy never benefited. Sir, I prefer to stand for So, sir, you were, sorry for the word lamenting, last year, you were lamenting that those of you who fought for democracy never benefited. And the question I raised then was that you never, what I said was that what effort did you put in place to make sure that the elephant of democracy you killed did not fall in the hands of the thieves that has ravaged now? So pathetic, Dr. Joe Oudua has said. Sir, respectfully, sir, to you, I could see my brother Joseph Emma, Dr. Bolaji Akinyemi, Dr. Joe, every one of you who fought for this democracy, fought and left democracy in the hand of looters. You did nothing to preserve that office. You killed the elephant of democracy and you left it in the hand of scavengers. Sir, it is my humble opinion that from 1999 till date, our democracy has fallen into the wrong hands. Honestly, from 1999, I am of the opinion that our democracy has fallen into wrong hands, has fallen into the hands of robbers, looters, and scavengers. Now we are talking.
We have just less than 20 minutes to round up this program.
Sir, now that we are talking of restructuring and regionalism, I want to opine that it's another round of struggle. Now that we are struggling for restructuring and regionalism, sir, won't you leave it in wrong hands if we eventually achieve it? Just as
as you left democracy in wrong hands. Respectfully, Are, Dr. Oodua, Joe Eva, you left democracy in 1999 into wrong hands. If restructuring is achieved today, OPC, will it not be left in the hands of robbers and scavengers? That's the question. That's the question. And finally, sir, what role will religion be playing? Religion is a personal thing. Religion is a personal thing. Look at what religion has. Has religion really helped? Yes, sir. Who has religion helped in Nigeria? That's the question.
Please, for me,
the more religious we are, the more corrupt we are. The more religious we are, the more deceptive we are. The more religious we are, the more ungodly we are. And finally, sir, I want to say it is the religious people that will stand as what I would call constructive, viable, and effective opposition to this government. But unfortunately, just as the executive has pocketed other arms of government, our spiritual fathers on all ground has been pocketed. Thank you and God bless you.
He was in jail. Let us observe it in the silence. Thank you for standing up. God bless you. May the soul of Kokori and all others departed rest in peace. Thank you very much. When Kokori was arrested, he said, look, Eva, mobilize our people from the riverine area. Mobilize and throw stones. Let people know that this June 12 is not Yoruba matter, it's national matter. How many people can we find like that in Nigeria? How many people? How many people? So we're involved, non-indigenous in Lagos, especially Nigeria Delta, Liverpool, Epe, Badagry, Maitu, my own area, Ketu, Maryland, non-indigenous. So when soldiers capture money, they'll be surprised that some of them are not Yorubas. That was the strategy to make June 12 national matter. My leader, may his soul rest in peace. Now, like what Alame said when he established the Niger Delta University, he asked me, where can we get lecturers from UK, from Japan, to take care of this university? I said it is only University of Ibadan or Ife. It is only the Yoruba people. This struggle we are talking about here, only Yorubas. Only Yorubas. Go back to your history. Even your own son, Obasanjo, you dealt with him for daughter. He has been surrendered. Obasanjo surrendered. It was Yorubas using their media. Please, we don't know why God still keep Wole Soyinka. Maybe it's for this purpose. We should not neglect it. The Yoruba intellectuals go to Wole Soyinka, Femi Falana, and all that. When they did, when the Yoruba did, others follow in this country, right from the beginning. It's a very simple thing. Same Nigeria group make my brother to become acting president. Same Nigeria group from Southwest. What are we talking about? I'll be telling you that only Yorubas can save us in this matter of restructuring. When Yoruba come with their own Southwest and with their think tank, good news this morning or this afternoon that the governor of Lagos State is the chairman of Southwest governors. Start from there. Start from there. Let them speak with one voice. Let them raise their voice and say, we want restructuring. If Southwest Yorubas governors say we want restructuring, or that will be shivering. Then carry us, my God, and people along. We are just talking. We are tired of talking. Let these great men like Wole Soyinka, Femi Falana, and governors of Southwest, we want restructuring now. You see everybody shivering, praying that the thing will not spread, should not spread, and it will spread. We are talking, and we have been talking. Wole Soyinka is still alive for a purpose. There are other great guys who are tired of talking.
if they are seen in the television camera talking with the governors of Southwest, we are saved. We are saved. Jehovah God knows why when he said I see alive and great men like him and women. They should meet with Southwest governors. That is the end of story for this debate. Thank you very much.
All right, comrade, that was the point. That was the point. Where he's going to address his struggle in ensuring the recognition of June 12th as a democracy day, and how that will further enhance the question of regionalism. Over to you, Ari.
I will adopt the submission of Professor Oodua because there was a point he's trying to make that the moderator did not allow him to be detailed about, which is very... OIM started with self-determination. OPC stylishly, practically reflect in their aims and objectives in self-determination. By 1998, the tempo was so hot on the issue of self-determination. Our slogan is that the Oodua Republic is a must. In all our banners, even t-shirts. But we got to a stage we realized that the elite of Yorubas, like whatever was saying, is not ready to support self-determination. Even our royal fathers, the kings, they are not ready. And for us as a freedom fighter, we have to sit down and strategize. If we can't meet up on self-determination, we should have another option, or plan B and plan C. Now, if we can't meet up on self-determination, let us have the structuring to regionalism. What's so good? Abacha done one thing for Nigeria, which people did not notice because of the bad accident of Abacha. He was the one that zoned Nigeria to 6 geographical zones that we have today. That even give Niger Delta the recognition they have as a region. So we now started projecting to the public. Okay, we are not talking about self-determination now. Let us restructure Nigeria on the basis of federating units to regionalism. They could not listen. We now have another third option. If you don't want regionalism, even statism, let us start with statism. The US have 50 sovereign states on the basis of statism. And from my speech, welcome my address, just 15 ministries. And US is still the police of the world that governs the entire global village. The statism, they are not convenient with the statism. In the national conference, we give them many options. We even suggest French parliamentary system of government, which was adopted in the national conference. It took us a serious war before we can scale through state police in the national conference. In the national conference, it was about 492 recommendations, 522 recommendations. And I can tell you from the information I have, from the content of the recommendation, if Buhari government have implemented 70% of that recommendation, Nigeria will have moved forward. On Monday, the Southwest governor met and appoint Governor Sanwo-Olu as the chairman of Southwest governor. And they now took 2 decisions after appointing him as the Southwest governor. They agreed that from now, they will demand for regionalism. Second demand is that the Yoruba unitary anthem, they adopt it as the Southwest anthem, after national anthem. You know what happened within 24 hours? The media silent on regionalism. People try to silence on the Yoruba unity anthem. Like what Evans was saying. Now, if the government come out, we get what we want. I won't mention the other figures we are talking about. If we don't do what we are doing here, the government will not do anything. If the grassroots people did not push for agitation, the governors will not take the agitation so serious. They always try to look what is happening in any society before they kill after what they are pushing. We have sat here for a period of 4 hours now. And what we are doing here is not on the four walls of this hotel. It's being transmitted in our local media. We can call it local media, internet. Like streaming for about 8 miles in different platforms. All over the world is watching us and listening to what we are saying. Continue agitation, continue pushing for what you want. The pressure will come beyond Nigeria. It will come from our people in diaspora, and it will come beyond Yoruba people. You say Yoruba is very strong when they want to get their thing. I agree with you. At the same time, we need the unity of the entire Southerners. I will still give the glory to late Raymond Dopesi in the National Conference. The Northern gang up against us in the National Conference. Raymond Dopesi used his influence to call the entire leaders of this house that let us unite in this National Conference so that we can push certain things that will move this country forward. On doing that, we managed to get about 70% of the middle belt. That was how we can be able to get substantial issues that can move this country forward in that National Conference. Someone told me one word, which I've never said in public, I will say it today. Alhaji Muhammad Bello said, Gani, when we finished that conference on that day, Gani, everything people brought to this conference, you got it. I can assure you, no one of it will be implemented at the end of the day. And it happened. It's not about Yoruba people alone. I have part of your blood now. I marry a Yoruba daughter as a wife now. So the major people should sit down and know that it's right time to fight for their rights. We started our temple in Southwest. The major data people had their own police, native police in the major data. The Southeast people start their own native police in the Southeast. You can't leave everything to Yoruba to be pushing for you every time. If truly you follow everything Yoruba is doing, immediately we started our temple, the Nigerian government is supposed to have their own uniform security outfit in the state level. Also the Southeast. For the issue of regionalism, what we are saying here is an advantage to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if he's ready to listen. I can assure him, if you don't look for a way to restructure Nigeria, the Northerners will not allow you for second time. The only thing that can give you an opportunity to get second time is to rally around, call the Southerners, and restructure Nigeria. By then, the Southerners will say you are very serious. You have a purpose as number one citizen. We will back him up for second time. Because is taking some revolutionary steps, although it's not for the masses, which I believe the Northerners will not like it. And they will wait for him the second time. But the only strategy can apply to make sure we started working on restructuring of this country. They don't have our numbers. Northwest, not all the Northeast we follow Northwest. We have the Southerner and Middle Belt, and in the process we get some Northeast in our support. Even some Northwest will support us. By then, it can use the parliament, talk to the parliament, and it has a very good relationship with the two leaders of the parliament to give us a certain content of instruction. I will say this, there's no way you can communicate to them on that, because they don't have any relationship with us here. How we communicate? I've never seen a president who did not have a good relationship with his own generalissimo in this life. I've never seen somebody as number one citizen, olórí ogun ìran ẹ̀ ò ní good relationship pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. Bí olórí ogun yẹn kò bá lágbára ìṣẹ̀dá olórí ogun yẹn á ràn lọ́wọ́. So something drastically has to be done. We are not sitting here as a joke. We spend millions of naira to make sure we can speak as a brothers and sisters in this conference. Frank talks. And that was one of the reasons we didn't make this conference as a political conference. I have the network to bring some political leaders. At least 30 to 40 political leaders in this conference. But deliberately let us bring some academicians and some figures that are good practice to this conference. So ever you have a lot to play. Your brother do a lot of things, done a lot of things for us in the national conference, which is redundancy. So at the same time, talk to your people in the Niger Delta. Let us look for a way to liberate ourselves once and for all. Thank you very much.
You are trying to lecture us, right? The professors are already talking, the doctors, the lawyers have been lecturing us, which is good. But everything is in hand of our governors and our federal assemblies. If they can pass it and make it a reality to be in the law. But what I'm particular about is about security. So I've been added to it. Our people in diaspora, they are afraid of coming home because of those kidnappers, everything like that. And we are asking for state police. If they didn't give us state police, why don't you have our own state Amotekun, like Ondo State, Akeredolu did? Because I personally, I don't believe on police or something like that. I believe on OPC. And I've been saying it. I believe on OPC. You know what happened on Ekiti with our Obas? You know those that fish these people out, they are the OPC over there. So you help me to talk to Gani Adams. The Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Yorùbá. You know we are calling him Olóògbé, and I'll be moving with him for some time now, with the expectation that he will give me my own Olóògbé. And I don't want to ask him. So maybe you help me to talk to him. Let me have my own Olóògbé. I don't like this umbrella or this kidnapper to attack me on the road. So I don't need him. So let us go out with him. So, Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò, I thank you very much. May God be with you and be guiding you anywhere you are going. This gathering is very interesting. And I know the National Assembly will watch it. If they can make or utilize on it, they will continue to pray that they should hear what we are saying. So thank you very much. God bless you all.
On behalf of we have to make it snappy now, no time. On behalf of the Eagle Crime Awareness and Prevention Initiative, we hereby to honor and celebrate our daddy, Iba Gani Adams, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Global. And before the presentation, I would like my mentor, who taught me how to speak in public. She's my mother. She's here. I cannot present it without her. She's one that taught under the radio for me, under the songs she's always there for me. I'm calling on Dr. Joe Oodua. You will be the one to present this into our level. Thank you.
Equal Crime Awareness and Prevention Initiative, ECAPI. The 15th Generalissimo of Yoruba Land, Iba Gani Adams, is being presented an award as the Grand Patron of Eagle Crime Awareness and Prevention Initiative, ECAPI. Congratulations!
Of my family, and on behalf of Oodua People's Congress, because without Oodua People's Congress, I don't believe I can be a recipient of this kind of award. The job every one of you have done was what's giving this honor today. I dedicate this award to every leaders and members of OPC. Because when you're talking of security, you are talking of you can see what Kabiyesi was saying. That they have confidence on the OPC of security. And at the same time, Kabiyesi have confidence on Nigerian police. Because the police and OPC work together on the issue of security in certain areas in Nigeria. So I dedicate this award to every one of you as a member of OPC. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Junior, we thank you. We thank you, all members of Oodua People's Congress, and we thank you, all members of civil society that are here this afternoon. The media, we appreciate your presence. We thank you for your collaboration. We appreciate every individual and group of organizations that has contributed one way or the other to the success of this program. Adelebario, Adinokoreo. Oh,